Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
Hey, welcome to another edition of Freed on Business. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to be interviewing Brian Gale, who is single-handedly changing the face of Miami as he's bringing these new tech tenants in and putting them into all the fancy new office buildings. A little bit of an aside, Hurricane Ian is whipping around outside. If we lose connectivity, that's what's been going on. So we'll be right back after a short word from Warren Henry with Brian Gale. Stick with us. We're going to talk about what's going on in the office market here in Miami. It's going to be breathtaking. It's amazing. There are very few times when there's what we would call a real paradigm shift that goes on. This is one of them. Mr. Mendoza, take it away. People are waiting. All right, everybody. I want to thank Larry is in and our friends at Warren Henry. They've been sponsors for over a decade. We really appreciate them sponsoring the show and for them making me their brand ambassador. I really can't thank them enough. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Warren. Thank you, Eric. Thank you to the whole team over there, Ismet, everybody. We love our friends at Warren Henry. And why? We've been clients here for decades. When you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audis. Down in the Keys, they've got all those great nameplates down there. What do all those cars have in common? Well, they're all great cars. They all come with the Warren Henry Advantage. What is that? Well, that's a whole list of long services that you get, but it starts off with a complimentary service loaner if you need one. They'll repair any scratches on your rims. I get those all the time from parking close. They make my car look beautiful. You need a new key replacement. Some of those keys can cost hundreds of dollars. They'll replace them for you. They'll guarantee you're getting the best price on your trade-in. They'll guarantee you're getting the best price on your new car. And they'll give you 3 days to make sure you love that new car. Guess what? You will. Nobody ever returns those cars back. They love them. Join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, lots and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
The folks at Carlson are the best. They help me with all my social media and my announcements for the show and all kinds of website stuff. They're just tremendous. I really love having them as partners. You know who else I love having partners? All the different families I work with. I talked to one patriarch earlier today. We're going to be meeting for coffee next week. I've got another patriarch that I'm helping him build out one of his new lines of service. I've got a group from Israel that just called me a couple seconds before the show started. I've got to get back with them right after the show, and I'm helping another family that's based up in Tampa. As soon as the storm's over, we're going to be jumping on some more new deals with them. They actually just asked me for my fee agreement today. So give me a call. What do all those groups have in common? I all treat them like solid gold. They're all first in my mind every day. I've got a list of them right here. I think about them all. I go down the list of all the people that I work with before I start any new business. Want to join that list? Give me a call. Direct message me. Why? What I do is I help people solve their real estate problems and reach out to me. Why? Because it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we've got a great show for you today. We've got Brian Gale on. Let's bring Brian up. Brian sits on the UF Center for Real Estate Studies board with me. Brian and I have been friends for, we both had a lot more hair and a lot darker hair back when we first met each other with John Marshall back in the day. Brian's here. I want to thank Brian for joining us. Brian is changing the face of South Florida with his team as they lease up some of the premier office space in town to some of the really cool tenants that you've been reading about. So welcome back to the show, Brian Gale.
Thank you, Jimmy. Always great to be with you. I think this is our 10th episode together over, 20-year period. So always great to be with you.
Love having you. If it's 10th episode over 20 years, we need to make you a more frequent guest, Brian. You're tremendous. Let's start out with the topic that you always love to talk about. What do you think about Billy Napier and the Florida Gators?
Gator football, one of my favorite subjects. God, what a weird year, right? Came out against Utah, knocked off, I think they were ranked 9th. I was at that game, Jimmy. We had the best time. I found a great tailgate spot right by the stadium. Amazing. Started to rain on us, got sloppy. Love those games. Then we go to Kentucky, or actually we played Kentucky at home, played like crap. The quarterback play's been erratic. I think he's hurt. No one's reported that he's been hurt, but you don't run like that and then all of a sudden you don't run the next couple of games. Then the Tennessee game, I felt like we could have won that game. I think we were kind of the better team. We just didn't play great until the end. But we're 0-2 in the SEC East, Jimmy, and that's not exactly where I wanted to be.
Well, I agree with you. This is where I say it's just entertainment, but it's much more than that when it's Gator football, and hopefully the Gator basketball team can also get it together. We've been missing Billy D on that squad as well. So, Brian, let's talk about the people that are really world class. Those are your clients on the office side, both the tenants and the office buildings. Tell me a little bit about what's changed in the office market from a office stock standpoint. I remember I officed on Brickell for a long time in 1000 Brickell. The backyard of that building's changed a lot since then. So is the front yard. So is the entire neighborhood. I like to say that people want to live in a 15-minute city. Well, that's what Brickell's become. What's going on with the office space there, though? It's really evolved significantly since I walked into that old building Alan Morris built 1,000 years ago.
That's right, which turned office condo, as you know. Look, before COVID, Jimmy, the office market was doing great. We had, every quarter absorption was happening. Rental rates were peaking up a little bit. We were in a very, very good office market for many, many years. COVID hits, and I'm sitting home March of 20 saying, I don't think anyone's coming back to the office. We've figured out Microsoft Teams and Zoom, and no one wants to sit in traffic, and I think we're just going to sit at home. And about 3 months later, it was probably around July, August, everything changed for me, Jimmy. Yeah, go Gators. Everything changed. And I started to see this influx of people, of companies relocating and wanting to come to South Florida. They've always wanted to come here. Taxes changed back in 2017. So it's not like it was something brand new, but it just wasn't sexy. It wasn't fad, right? I mean, it just, New York was still a powerhouse, and so was Chicago and San Francisco on the tech scene. Well, the governments there were not very friendly for businesses, plus taxes. And then, everyone just wanted to sort of be outside and not be crept up inside an apartment. And so they started to do what they've really wanted to do for years, which is look at South Florida. And boy, did they come in droves. I would say 2021 was the busiest year of my career. Probably 2022 is right there with it as well. And they're not just coming from New York. It's Chicago, San Francisco, LA, and New York. And so, you know, we have this brand new building under construction, which is about to TCO in about 2 months, 830 Brickell. We're going to be 100% pre-leased 2 months before the building TCOs. Okay. I would tell you that of all the tenants in the building, 640,000 square feet of tenants, only 2 tenants were local. Every other tenant came from either LA, San Fran, Chicago, or New York.
Now, the 2 local tenants, what type of firms are they?
One was Baker McKenzie, the law firm, and the other was Marsh McLennan. Both of them were already located here in South Florida and then just wanted to sort of upgrade and move to a new building. But the rest of them, every other tenant, from Microsoft to CI Financial to Tomo Bravo to Sidley Austin to Winston Strawn, all Citadel, all new to market tenants, Jimmy.
So they're all new to market tenants. They're all paying historically significant rents. I remember when I used to laugh at you when you told me we get $45 gross on Brickell. Today, what are we getting?
Well, I mean, where's your buddy Bobby Orban, right? Bobby Orban, we were on the show together. You put us both on. He had his, you know, Bobby represents tenants. I represent the landlords. We both had our opinions on the market. Bobby called me crazy. And all of a sudden, Jimmy, rents on Brickell Avenue have doubled, have gone from $60 a foot to $120 a foot for the high-end Class A space.
Now, the anecdotal evidence that I've heard on the street is that people are stepping up and paying that increased rent, but they're skinnying down their footprint or doing some, you know, different hybrid office space theories where their actual occupancy cost is pretty similar to where it was before. Are you seeing that? Or are you seeing people doubling up on their bottom line?
So I'm not seeing people, we call it right sizing, you know, when you have a little more space and then maybe you do a renewal and you right size. We're not seeing that. Matter of fact, there was an article yesterday in the paper about Goldman Sachs just doubled up on their space in downtown Miami. So no, we're not seeing, I mean, look, I'm not saying that there's no tenant that was maybe 25,000 square feet decided they wanted to be 20,000. But when you look at the way that spaces are being built today, they're completely different than the old way that spaces were built because, you know, there is this sort of hybrid model, which is real. Okay. People are using it. Not everyone will necessarily come into the office like they used to pre-COVID, 5 days a week. Maybe you come in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Maybe you come in every other day. But what they've realized is you don't necessarily have to be in the office every single day, but you do need to come into the office for the collaboration.
Okay, we're going to stop right there. We're going to talk a little bit on the next after the break about what the future is going to look like. Brian and I are doing this both from our homes because of the weather, the inclement weather outside. But I know Brian's got a tremendous interactive office that they always keep redesigning. We'll talk about his office. We'll talk about your office. We'll talk about my office. We'll talk about the future of office right after this. What a tremendous show. We're talking about the past, present, and the future with one of my favorite people. I hope you're going to really enjoy it. More of my favorite people that I talk about the past, present, and future with are the folks at Warren Henry. I really appreciate their insights, their coaching. They just helped my wife and I get the brand new Infiniti QX60 SUV. My goodness gracious. I don't see why every person on the planet that can afford it would drive that car. It's just amazing. Must say I try to steal it from my wife whenever I can. So when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why I have to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne. I love walking through that store. It's just a glimpse into the future, and the people are always so nice. Down in the Keys, they sell all their different name brands. And up in Gainesville, well, they sell Audis. I was just up there a couple of days ago. I love the folks up there, and I love the Audi cars. They were just tremendous. What do all those cars have in common? Well, they're all great cars. They all come with the Warren Henry Advantage. That means you get complimentary service loan if you got to leave it overnight. My wife just confirmed hers. We're going to take the SUV in a couple of days and get it fixed up and get some new things done to it. We're going to they give you the service loaner. If you scratch up your rims, well, they'll polish them up for you, make them look like new. Lose those keys, well, those keys are expensive. They'll replace them for you for free. They'll guarantee that you're getting the best price on your trade-in. They'll guarantee that you're getting the best price on your new car. Hey, they'll even give you 3 days to turn in that car. If you don't like it, trade it back to them. Nobody ever does that because they're just such tremendous cars. So join me, my beautiful wife, Vivian, my mom, lots and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service. You got it. Always Warren Henry.
Can AI supercharge your real estate analysts? With Deep Blocks, you can now canvas entire cities in minutes. Search by total buildable, potential units, and uses allowed. Now live in 100 cities. Book a private demo and supercharge your real estate analysts. deepblocks.com/demo.
Deep Blocks is just rocking. I can't get Olivia back on the show. The woman is so busy, but we'll hopefully have her on again in October. She is one of the guests that everybody likes to listen to. They always ask for more Olivia, so we'll be getting Olivia back on as soon as we can, and we'll play her in Best Of sometime later this month, hopefully. Hey, reach out to me. I'm Jim Freed, founder of Sandstone Realty Advisors. What do? We solve people's real estate problems. I've got families from all over the world that call me to help them buy properties, sell properties, finance properties. I'm helping a couple different families start new product lines. We're going to be building businesses together. I'll get a piece. So reach out to me if I can help you. Need some financing, I can help with that. We're helping some folks refinance their homes, even in these high interest rate markets. We can help people with that. We're helping a couple of our best clients finance build-to-suit tenants, some spec industrial, all kinds of different things. We're selling some land for home builders. So give me a call. Reach out to me. If you've got a real estate issue I can help with, give me a call. And remember, the person who wants to do something finds a way, the other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. My personal brand is that I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. So reach out to me. Why? Because whenever you do, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
We're back with Brian Gale. Brian is the preeminent office leasing broker in town. Brian and I have known each other a long time. We figured out this is Brian's 10th appearance on the show. Welcome back, Brian Gale.
Great to be here, Jimmy. Always great.
Now, Brian, we were talking about, great to have you, by the way, Brian. Thanks again, as always, for making time for us. If we lose our signal, it's because there's the crazy storm going on outside, but I actually see some sun out there. The wind is blowing, but I do see some sun. So, Brian, here we are. We're both in our homes. We were talking about working from the office. I've talked to a number of the lenders in the office space. There's a difficult time getting loans for office space because they're having a problem seeing the future of office. Even the guys that make the loans only go in for 2 or 3 days a week. Is that going to really impact people taking office space, or people just realizing that's what they need? They're doubling up the people and they're still taking the office space. What's going on? What's the future of office look like?
Yeah, look, I think South Florida is a little bit in a bubble, right? You could look around Des Moines, Iowa. I don't know that Des Moines, Iowa is, doing so great on the office market today. South Florida, Texas, Arizona, those are sort of, the areas that are really sort of doing very well in terms of the office market. But look, you do need office space. We've learned that the collaboration is valuable, and that without that, there's just a lack of productivity. But being in the office every day may not be the way that the world will work moving forward. For instance, like Microsoft, who signed a lease with us for about 50,000 square feet at 830 Brickell, they have about 300 employees. They think that there'll never be more than 120 employees in the office at one time. So they've instituted this sort of parking system where instead of you normally take a parking card and you get in the parking garage, It's all done through an app. So if I'm not coming in that day, I don't use the parking, and that's someone else, who will be coming in that day. So there's all sorts of new ways that the world is changing in terms of the way that we deal with office space. But what I do want to touch on a little bit, Jimmy, is this sort of flight to quality that we're seeing. You're seeing this flight to quality not just in South Florida, you're seeing it everywhere. We were recently with one of the largest owners, SL Green in New York, actually the largest owner. They gave us a tour of the nicest building in New York, one of the nicest buildings, One Vanderbilt, that in 425 Park. And, they're getting like $300 a foot in rent. And what they said is, yeah, we're filled up here, but we have about another 18 million square feet of office buildings throughout New York that are not doing so well. So we're seeing this flight to quality across the country, and down here in South Florida, it is absolutely on fire. And so now what you're seeing, Jim, is a lot of new and proposed new office buildings in South Beach. We're handling a project right now called The Fifth, which is going to be one of the nicest boutique buildings ever built. We're handling Craig Robbins' new building in the design district called the Ursa. This is the first new office building to ever come to the design, real office building, to come to the design district with balcony spaces, and it's really a culmination. Yep, you want to stop me?
Okay, that means I want to ask a question.
Oh boy.
First, Bob Borband asks,
he just texted me.
What about Hines giving back? What about Hines giving back a whole bunch of office space in DC, a building in DC where you can get 25 months on a 10-year lease? I think that's a different office market. We're talking about
again. Yeah, once again, Bobby always uses an analogy that really has no relevance to our conversation. So there's a trend that he continues to do that. And I know Bob's watching right now. Bob, the office market in Siberia isn't doing as well as Miami either. So maybe on the next time I'm on the show, you'll bring that one up. The DC market is completely different as the New York market, as the Chicago market, right?
But let's take a step back. Let's take a step back and come back to Miami, okay? And if Bob wants to join us, I sent him the link. He can come on and break our chops as much as he wants. Yeah, and I encourage that because it makes for great fun. So let's get back to this though. Here we are in Miami, and you talked about two different office buildings that I think are going to have two different dynamics that bring up a really interesting point. Yes, Adam Ticken says hi also. We love you, Adam. But I think this is a very nuanced thing. You got the thing out on Miami Beach. I don't think a lot of the people that are going to work there are going to be anywhere near there. And then you got the thing in the design district, which is at least close to where all the people live. Now, I also know that the auto.com guy is building a LEED platinum building in Little Haiti. What do they call it?
Little River?
No, in Miami, Magic City. Have to give them their due. That's what they branded it. So that's a build to suit. Lemon City. Look at you, Lemon City.
Lemon City. Yep.
That's from Peter Ehrlich. But seriously, those are all different areas. They all draw on different things. The stuff on Miami Beach is all going to be for the people who live on Miami Beach. I agree with you that Miami Beach conceptually needs more office space, but is top end, really expensive office space what they need? Or do they really need functional stuff where everybody can afford it? Ooh, how about that for a question?
Well, Jimmy, it's about flight to quality. It's not really about right now. It's, the commodity office buildings, the C quality office buildings, they're okay, right? I mean, it's like, we say you go kind of, once you start to go west, too far west, it's like, you could go to another country at that point because the market just changes. It's really sort of the inner city stuff like Wynwood, like Design, like Coconut Grove, like the beach, downtown, Brickell, Aventura, Bay Harbor, all those neighborhoods.
Okay, so I have a concept that I call the 15-minute city, and you just nailed it, okay? I live in Coconut Grove. God forbid I should go anywhere else. I saw that Starbucks opened. Starbucks was closed at 6. It opened at 7. I went at 8. It was closed by 10. I knew all of that because I'm right here. If I want to go to CVS, they just opened 200 yards away next to Fresh Market, which had all the water that my wife couldn't find at Publix. So I've got it. I can ride my bike to the bike store. I can go to Barry's if I want to go to I'll have to say it, sorry, a dive bar. I want to go to a fancy bar, I got everything here.
It's live, work, play more so now than ever before because of traffic. Traffic's horrible, right? It's one of the two biggest issues we have in our city right now, okay, is traffic, and with all the new to markets, getting them into these schools, right? Because the schools are all crowded.
Dude, the building across the street from me, I watched it come back from Orban's texting me again, by the way. I watched the building, SBS, come back. It was empty. Then the people came back. Now it's $75 a foot. $75 a foot across the street where you couldn't get 35 just a few years ago.
That's cheap. $75. You should take it. Look, rents on Brickell, right? They're $90 to $100 for the existing stock, where they were $50-$60 a foot right before COVID. So, people are willing to pay more money. Now, what's really interesting, Jimmy, how about the tenants that are renewing? How about the tenants that are coming out of a $45, $50 rent and they just get hit with a new proposal at 90?
Hey, by the way, quote from Bob, he understands Miami's a bubble and that you're right. That's Bob Orban giving you a high five. High five back to Bob. Yeah,
look, with the DC comment, it's going to take me another month to sort of get back to on the same page with Bob.
You're so great.
He's trying. I know. Listen, he's fighting the fight, okay? But it's not about fighting the fight. We tell brokers all the time, just let it happen. It's an organic thing. People are willing to pay more money to be in a Class A building in Brickell or downtown or Key Biscayne or wherever, right? Anywhere in South Florida. They're willing to pay more money than ever before. Let it happen.
Okay, so Mr. Big, who took some space in 830 Brickell, is going to live in the fancy house on Miami Beach and do the 45-minute round-trip commute? Or is he going to take a fancy condo, let's say, from the guys at Paramount, or I don't know who's building the fancy condos on Brickell right now. I think that, I think you got it right next door.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Look,
So are the people that are moving in, the guys that are, oh, there you go. Bring them on. Bob's here to give you that. Okay, we're gonna all right, we're gonna bring Bob on. We're gonna take a break, and then Bob's gonna come make the case. We're gonna have some great TV here. It's gonna be awesome. You got the best smile. But do you pay money for that smile, by the way?
I did. I played Invisalign. Dr. Brilliant.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Brilliant. You got a great smile. Back after this, more on Brian's teeth and Bob Orban jousting after this. This is so great. I'm having such a good time. I hope you're enjoying yourself too. Hey, you know where else you can enjoy yourself? You can enjoy yourself at Supercar Saturday with me, the second Saturday of every month with my friends at Warren Henry. This month, I think we're having it at a new location. I'll have to look that up. Anyway, if you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. I want to thank Warren Henry for being a sponsor on the show for the last decade. We're entering our second decade with Warren Henry. Can you believe we've been on that long, Mr. Mendoza? High five to everybody involved with the show. Thank you to Warren, Larry, Eric, Ismet, the whole team over there, Abe Cohn, the whole bit. I love them all. They're all great guys. They're all great people. They're all great cars. So if you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can, go over to Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne. Down in the Keys, they sell all their great nameplates. Up in Gainesville, they got Audis. What do all those cars have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. You become a member of the Warren Henry family. Really is something great. But you'll also get a loaner car if you need a loaner car. If you scratch up your rims, they'll polish up your rims for you. If you lose those fancy keys, which are hundreds of dollars, they'll help you replace them. They'll guarantee you're getting a great price on your used car. I mean, on your trade-in. They'll guarantee you're getting a great price on your new car. They'll give you 3 days to make sure you love the car, or you can turn it back. Nobody ever turns it back because they love those cars. Join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, lots and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service. Oh, yeah, always Warren Henry.
Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
I love the folks at carlsonintegrated.com. They make me look great. And as you can tell, that's not so easy. Hey, reach out to me, DM me, call me if I can help you with a real estate problem. That's what I do for a living. I help folks solve their real estate problems. I've got one big family. I'm doing a big build to suit for like $30 million loan for them. I've got another deal where I'm doing distribution facility. I'm doing a loan there for $10 million. I've got some smaller CPA stuff we're doing all across the country, and I've got some incredible equity deals I'm working on as well. What do all these things have in common? I'm solving somebody's problem in each case. Sometimes it's a client from overseas that needs to establish credit here. I'm bringing them to a bank. So there's all kinds of different things. I utilize my relationships to help other people build their businesses. So call me, reach out to me, and remember, my personal brand is that I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. I solve people's real estate problems every single day. So call me. Why? Because whenever you reach out to me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, here we go. It's going to be really great. We've got Brian Gale. Brian's probably a preeminent office building landlord rep. We've got Bob Orban on. Bob is one of the founders and chief executives over at Cressa Partners. They do a lot of tenant rep. And so, guys, welcome to the show. We're having lots of fun. Bob, it's great to see you. Did you use Invisalign on your teeth too?
No, I can't afford that. That's Brian's department.
Oh, okay. Here we go. It's flying already. So, Bob, you know, we've heard about everything's changing here in Miami. Brian's been repping these buildings. They're doubling their prices. You represent the law firms, accountants, and other people that are on Brickell Avenue. What's their response when you tell them they can stay in their space for twice as much?
Well, they're generally not pleased, and we've moved a few people out of Brian's buildings, had to go down the street or to Coral Gables or West Dade, where the markets aren't quite so robust. Brian is right. I gave him credit. I said, when you're right, you're right. I certainly didn't see this new to market tenant avalanche of users come to Miami, but certainly they did. West Palm Beach, likewise, a little bit less so in Fort Lauderdale, but it seems to continue. Now we'll see. Does a hurricane drive them off here today, or are they down for good? I think they're down for good. I think the governmental issues are such that they're just not going to go back.
Yeah, and once you plant the seed, right? I mean, you get your kids in school, you buy your house. You know, it's not like people are just going to be here for a year or two and then run. And by the way, we're seeing no slowdown at all in the new to market activity. I mean, this week alone, we received 2 inquiries from, 15 to 30,000 square feet, 40,000 square feet. Just this week, we're halfway through the week. So there's no slowdown at all in terms of the new to market activity.
So if there's the new to market activity there, where are they going to be staffing these firms? There's the talent pool here is different than the talent pool where they've been coming from. Props to the Beacon Council. We graduate more college grads in Miami than probably anywhere else in the country, thanks to the great job that Miami-Dade does and Florida FIU and FAU. But there's really highly skilled technical people that are required. Are they bringing those people with them? Are they creating training budgets, which I really wish they would do, so that they could employ our local workforce and lift them? Is this something that's going to lift our entire economy the way the Triad did in North Carolina? There's some easy ones, guys. Go for it.
Yeah. It's a good question. I'll start off on that one. So a lot of times when we do these leases with these new to market tenants, we'll ask that question, Jim. We'll say, how do you plan to lease up this office or fill up this office with your employees? Are you bringing them down? Are you hiring locally? And so I would say, based on sort of the survey that we've done with a lot of these tenants, it feels as if about 40 to 50% of the tenants are going to be relocating down here. And then the rest will be they'll hire, locally. So, and what we need some of these more Ivy League kids. And you're seeing it. I mean, I'm actually seeing it firsthand where some of these Ivy League kids who historically would go to San Francisco or New York now make their way down to Miami because they feel there'll be opportunities for them to get employment down here.
Oh, that is really new. Usually there's been a big brain drain. Bob, I asked Brian about the quote unquote right sizing. The reason I did that is I was at a conference and I heard that a lot of people like in the Charlotte area, for instance, are coming out of Charlotte or going into some of the perimeter places and scaling down so that they can be closer to where they live and closer to I call it the 15-hour city, 15-minute city. What are you seeing, Bob? You're relocating people out to Doral. How are they dealing with that? That's a completely different universe.
Well, it is. And we've seen that in the past, that people will look at different submarkets when costs get prohibitive. I think that the issue of how much space people are taking is a clear one, in that all of our clients are taking generally between 15 and 40% less square footage. We just relocated a law firm, a prominent Florida law firm in Coral Gables, from 21,000 feet to 6,500 square feet. We are interviewing a kid that's maybe going to come aboard with us. His dad's a prominent real estate attorney on Brickell. He says his father only goes to the office when he has to. So, we've got people in the brokerage business, and I'm at the office today, so who haven't been in their offices for 2 years. And pretty soon this becomes habit, and I don't think it bodes well long term. Now, yes, we're exceeding those losses now with new to market tenants, but is that going to go on forever is the question.
Our buildings, by the way, are about 75 to 80% now occupied. I mean, they may be 85 or 90% leased, but they were 25% just a year ago occupied. They're up to about 75%. So we're seeing the trend of people coming back to the office.
Well, that's the card swipes here. That's the card swipes here. But how about in other locales? New York. I mean, I've had big attorneys on from Chicago who basically say that their mayor is the best business development official that the Beacon Council could have. He doesn't understand why anybody still lives in Illinois.
We've been very fortunate in signing Chicago. We actually signed a lease while we were on this call. I just saw it came in through DocuSign. New to market from Chicago, $93 a foot, Bobby, at 701 Brickell. Okay, and Bobby knows we were in the 50s and up to $60 just a couple of years ago. So it's the highest watermark for 701 Brickell. We did Sidley Austin, one of the largest law firms in the country. Winston & Strawn, a 170-year-old law firm, moved down here from Chicago. Chicago's got a mass exodus, including Citadel.
Question. Technical one. First of all, I want to say hey to Rodrigo Ortiz and to Nicholas out there. We're getting lots of action there on LinkedIn and all the other stuff. People are giving comments faster than we can respond. There's two components to an office lease. When you're looking at the face rate and you're quoting me $100 and whatever dollars, how much of that is TI recapture and how much is really going to the landlord?
So that's a fair question. I would say TIs here, Bobby, you'll like this. I'll be on your side here for about 2 seconds. You are starting to see the TIs create, and it's tenant improvements for those that don't know what TIs are. But yeah, the TIs are definitely creeping up. The cost of construction's creeping up, right? So we're sort of, and with the rents, going so much higher, there's room to offer a little more tenant improvements. But I mean, we got some of these tenants. Okay, so maybe we give $100 a foot for 830 Brickell. Some of these tenants are spending $300 to $400 a foot of their own money to build out space.
That was my question. And now when they're spending that, is that like I got to do it like this, biometric access, or is that for fancy places to hang out and have a good time in the office?
You got to get people back in the office. So how are you going to get people back? How are you going to get people out of their comfortable homes into the office? It's about the building.
For a meeting.
No, but Bobby,
no, I don't want to go for a meeting. That was what the face was. I want to go hang out and talk about Gator football. I want to talk
You and
about
me
how we're
both.
going to do this together. I want to see the guy's face when I ask him a question, or
That's right.
ladies.
By the way,
I
how
want
about
to
the
meet the new
junior
people.
Jimmy?
Who are they?
How about the junior broker, junior attorney, junior whatever, who is sitting on a Zoom call, can't look around the room, read people's faces, understand the atmosphere? Those people lost 2 years of their lives. They'll never get those back. The experience of being in a room, in a conference room with, people who know what's going on, and to be able to
Making
read the
that
room.
deal with you.
It's
Just sitting
it's
in the room
incredibly
watching you make the deal with the other with Bob Orban on the other side of the table, and 52 lawyers beating each other up about what they want, and then the one guy running everything saying, "No, I live here. I will make the decision."
No, it's incredibly detrimental. You're right. We were talking about that today of people who just don't interact. I mean, you can't go to the, 2 offices down, knock on the door and say, "Hey, let me run something by you here." And we're going to have to see where that takes us. In the law firms I represent, my managing partners have told me they have partners that are my age that said, "I'm never effing coming back. I don't care about the water cooler. I don't care about the mentoring. I'm putting 2 hours a day back in my life."
And that's really is one of the things. It started out, I must say this, that probably 18 months ago, somebody invited me to their office in Brickell to go to a meeting. I says, "I'm not going to no office in Brickell for a meeting. You got to be crazy." Between the traffic and the elevator. Oh, wow, the wind just really cranked up out there. Sorry, stuff started running around. Yeah, we're here
That's a
with
real thing.
Hurricane. What's the name of this one?
Ian.
Hurricane
Ian.
Ian. Yeah, Hurricane Ian. I had to think of the guy I know, Ian, before I could remember the whole thing. It's going to be just like Harvey. It's just, here comes Tampa. Oops, not in. I mean,
Jim,
they're all.
The days that I work at home and the days that I go into the office, they're just completely different. It's a completely different atmosphere. There's no me and my dogs are not collaborating. Okay. And so when I get in the office and I get to hang out with the young kids and the energy that goes on there, it's just different. And people are starting to see that as they come back to the office. Big deal. You sit in traffic for 30, 40 minutes. You're on the phone, listen to music, chill out, and get your ass back in the office. That's where everyone is.
Chill out is inconsistent with being in your car, but everything else was good. The
music. I'm singing along in the car. If you pull up next to me,
that's because you're a happy person.
Buddy,
we're going to take a break, and then we're going to talk about what I do in the car after this.
Uh-oh.
Woo, Hurricane Ivan's out there, but we got a storm here on the show with Bob and Brian. Boy, I love these guys. They're so tremendous. And thanks to people like Rodrigo and Nicholas and also Adam for watching and text us if you've got anything that you want us to talk about here on the show. I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry. They've been sponsors for over a decade now. Thank you to Larry, Eric, Warren, and the whole team over there. We love them very much. And hey, if you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne. In Gainesville, they got their Audi store. Down in the Keys, they sell all the great nameplates. What do all those cars have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. That means you get complimentary loaner if you got to leave it overnight. If you scratch up your rims, they'll polish them up for you. If you lose those fancy, expensive keys, they'll replace them for you. Want to make sure you're getting the best price on your trade-in? They'll guarantee it. Want to make sure you're getting the best price on your purchase? They'll guarantee it. Hold on, we're having technical problems. Oh, lovely. So Regan Mendoza is not on the show. So I don't really know what to do next. So I'm going to say always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. And then I'm going to text Mendoza. Sorry. I don't really know what to do next. So let's see if I can do this. Fascinating. We've never had this before. Please, I love you all. Please bear with me. I'm going to try to find, we're trying to get back on now. Please bear with us. Oh, boy. Well, we're talking about office space with my good friend Brian Gale and also with Bob Orban. We're waiting to get back online. We're in the middle of Hurricane Ian. The wind really picked up and I'm sure knocked Mr. Mendoza offline. We'll give it another minute. If he doesn't come back, we'll wrap up the show and bring the guys back to punch it out again one more time on another show. Here we come. We're coming up.
We are back.
Look, we're on.
Back.
All right, we're back. All right, that's great. Let's bring back Bob. Let's bring back Brian. Oh, there they go. Sorry about that, guys. I think it's because I got an eye and all angry because it didn't remember his name. So we're in the car. We're going back to the office. Brian's whistling. Bob's kind of aggravated. I'm going nuts.
You can't fight
Brian,
the car.
No. Time out, because I want to
Don't
talk
fight
about
the
what you've
car,
been saying
man.
about collaboration. You know, I got the Starbucks across the street. It's ridiculous out. I walked across the street because I just wanted human contact and to be with people. I sit here in the home office and I can get everything done, but it drives me crazy. And then my wife asked me a question right in the middle of a phone call. There's a lot of benefit to having a real office. Believe me.
There is, and it's interesting. Right when Bobby came on, the show went out, and I don't know if that was on purpose or whatever. And then last thing I heard you say something about a loaner. I thought you were talking about Bob. I didn't realize you were talking about the car. So it's all sort of coming together now. Bobby, look,
Bob's in the office. Don't rag on Bob.
That's true. We appreciate Bobby coming to the office. Look, I think, Bob is, representing tenants. He's in there for the fight, right? He wants to fight for his tenants, get them the lowest rate possible. And so we appreciate that. We understand how that works. But at the end of the day, the market is the market. Rents are, by the way, here's one for you. Bobby, have you heard about some of the rents that have just happened on South Beach?
Yeah.
Do you know what those rents are?
They're $100 and some a foot, aren't they? Or 200?
They're about $160 a foot.
Wow.
Triple net. Now, you're talking about another $20 to $25 a foot in operating expenses. We're getting close to the $200 mark in rent in our city.
Look, I don't doubt there'll be some people who are willing to pay that and able, and maybe everybody will pay $80 a square foot for A and B office space on Brickell. It just remains to be seen. We'll have to give it another year or two and see where we're at. I think it's interesting. I don't know what's going to happen.
I think
that CBRE should have national go back to the office day where everybody goes back to the office. You know who'd be really happy about that? The people that serve lunch.
I was just on the phone with a CBRE broker. They're closed through the balance of the week here in Miami because of the storm.
You look like you're in the office, Bob.
I am. No traffic today.
Yeah, I'll bet. I didn't see anybody on my street except a bunch of palm fronds. You got to be nuts to be out there right now. Crap. Stuff is flying across my balcony, and the thing already passed us, supposedly. We've only got a couple of minutes left. Brian, we know that you think that it's going to keep going. Here's my question for you. Where's the next office building going to be? Looks like Brickell's kind of worn out. Where are we going to build the next one? All the apartment buildings and condos took your sites. What are you going to do?
Well, that was the old way, right? Was that all the great sites, highest and best use, were multifamily, right? But when you're getting rents in the hundreds, All of a sudden now, highest and best use may be office. Wynwood, ton of activity in Wynwood right now. The tech tenants, there's a bunch of big tech tenants running around Wynwood right now. That market, I mean, if you drive through Wynwood right now, there is crane after
I was there
crane.
Sunday. My office is at Zach the Baker, for crying out loud.
Oh,
you know that.
You know that. Okay. So it's insane what's going on there. Again, Design District having some new office. Coconut Grove, obviously 2850 Tiger Tail was a related building, filled up in 15 minutes, that building. The beach. So you're starting to see downtown Miami, Brickell, right? You're going to have Sterling Bay and related eventually build some super tall buildings. So there's a lot on the drawing board. Whether it all gets built or not, we'll see. But, you know, again, it's the flight to quality. People will move out of companies will move out of a perfectly good office building to move into a brand new building and pay more money. And okay, so maybe they right size. Maybe they go from 25 to 20 or something like that. Bobby's example before, where he had a 21,000 square foot law firm go to 6,500. I'm not seeing a lot of those. Maybe it's just Bob's tenants.
Well, that was a value play. That was a value play. They came out of that market. They made a business decision. They didn't decide, they didn't just decide to go to Coral Gables and downsize. Those guys made a real business decision on what the future of their law firm was going to look like. I would imagine, Bob.
One
how's
point
that?
I want to bring up regarding Coral Gables. So we represent 5 buildings in the Gables. So we're very involved in Coral Gables. The Coral Gables and the Brickell market, Bobby, they were about $1 or $2, $3 5 years ago. Difference between the two,
right?
Just a couple of dollars. They're now $60. A difference apart. Brickell so we've always been saying, if you live in Coral Gables and you've been officing on Brickell and you're paying $45, $50, you get hit with a $90, $100 proposal, you may just go back to Brickell for $50. I mean, back to Coral Gables, excuse me, for $50. Not have to sit in traffic, pay half the rent, but we're not really seeing that a whole lot yet. The Gables market hasn't really exploded sort of like we anticipated because of the spread with Brickell.
Well, at 830 Brickell, you're talking about the creme de la creme of office tenants. I mean, these are the white shoe law firms of the world that can, where the average partner is probably grossing $2 to $3 million there, and the average attorney is probably grossing $1 million. So, if you have $100 a square foot space and you have 600 feet, that's $60,000 a year per lawyer. What's that? 6% of your revenue, right?
Yeah, based on your math. But I'm actually surprised, and I actually do believe that Coral Gables will start to see a major spike in rents over the next couple of years, just to sort of catch up to the rest of the market. Because right now there's this parity where it used to be $2 from Brickell to Coral Gables, and now it's like 50, 60. So
I think it's also a density issue and a quality of midday life issue and after issue. I don't think that Coral Gables has the place for all the people that the fancy guy wants to hire yet. And when we were talking about Doral, I could see from my house the high rises that are being built in Doral for people to live, which means they're getting $325, $310, $315 out there in rents. So I got to believe that once the people are out there living, that you'll be able to put your office out there too. There's lots of people that own the companies that are out there in Doral that want to live in Doral.
Oh, for sure. And you don't pay for parking. It's much less expensive.
Oh, it won't be for long. I think now this is where I'm going to say it. I think that you're going to see an incredible upward shift everywhere. I think that all the people that are out in these suburbs are all going to want their fancy signature office building. I think you're going to have 100 to 200,000 square feet of these $100 a foot tenants everywhere. I remember when I did my first apartment building, it was in Aventura. I forget what it was called, Lincoln something. And I was the first guy to break 99 cents a foot. We did $1. They said, you'll never get more than over there. I said, BS, we're going to get $1 a foot. $3, $3.10, $3.20, $3.50 for those things, $5 a foot now. So I believe it. I don't really think it's a paradigm shift. I think it's a shift in demand. I think it's a shift in demographics. I think that the people here are going to have to pay up or move. They were moving to Tampa. Now it's going to get expensive in Tampa because of the hurricane. So it'll be really interesting to see how the people of Florida stand up to this increase in pricing in every regard as people come into, I'm going to use a term I never used before on this, before they get crowded out. That's what's going on. It's crowding out. That's the term. They're getting crowded out. Local people are being crowded out, and unless they match up, They're going to have to move. I experienced it when I had to look for a place to live at the height of the pandemic. Crowding out. You want to find a place that's the same, it's double or triple now. It's just the way it is. You got to bite down on that. That means you got to work just as hard. Ooh, I said it there. You think that guy making $2 million a year just cruises into the office? He's earning that money.
Yeah, the multifamily is needed. We need more multifamily in South Florida. With the influx of people, and the supply constraints is why you're starting to see crazy numbers for apartments, like one bedrooms at, $4,000 or $5,000.
And guess what? It's also why you get all the traffic, because people are coming from where they live to where they work. So there's going to be an incredible change in the way people live and the lifestyle that they live and what they're going to have to live. They're going to all want to be within walking distance, basically, to Publix or Fresh Market or Whole Foods. You're seeing them delivering that right now in the Edgewater area. You see Publix just opened up in downtown proper across from Swerdlow's deal. Swerdlow's going to open up Ross and all of his tenants over there, and they'll become real neighborhoods where people never have to leave.
And by the way, Jimmy, one thing we do need to touch on is Brightline, right? So for now, that's going to change our city, because right now it's what? Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm, they're opening up Aventura, they're opening up Boca. But when it stops in Wynwood and it stops in Design and it stops in North Miami, game changer.
The wind just changed and all the stuff on my balcony started moving. So we're going to probably have to wrap up. I agree with you that Brightline is going to change it. I talked to a guy who lives in Fort Lauderdale today. He said he's looking at a job in West Palm. I said, you'll have to move. He says, no, I'm going to live on Brightline. I'm not moving.
That's right. And that happens. One of my asset managers lives in West Palm and works on Brickell.
No, I have an even bigger thing than that. I went to the South Florida Business Deal Structure Awards. Yeah. And I'll just say it this. One of the awards was named after somebody who took the Brightline up and down from Fort Lauderdale to get to the awards and took, Uber from the thing. We offered him a ride to go back to Brightline. He says, no, I'll wait for my Uber. This is a person that's living the life. It's a next-gen person that's highly profile. I believe that without a doubt that the Long Island Railroad of Miami is here to stay and change the face forever. Okay, last word, Bob, because you jumped in, and then we'll give Brian the absolute last word.
Well, again, I think we're going to have to see what happens here, and home prices aren't particularly inviting for out-of-town, newcomers. And here we are in a storm. Our schools are okay. We'll see what happens.
Those newcomers, though, Bobby, they're coming from New York. They're selling their house for more money. And they're coming down here, and it's still cheap, right? We're still I don't know if we're cheap anymore, but we're sort of getting up there. But look, South Florida, both Miami and West Palm, unbelievable office markets, two of the best office markets in the country. Still seeing this new to market activity. We're going to be in for a good ride for the next few years.
Okay, I get the last word. I get the last word here. If you're a tenant and you need representation, there's a reason I put Bob Orban on the show. I even invited him. I baited him. We trolled you, Bob. You bit. All right. Brian Gale. Somebody owns an office building. They want the best in the business. Mac Taylor will tell you it's Brian Gale. I had to throw that in there. Two of the best and brightest guys in our marketplace. Anybody coming to our market, please reach out. These are two of the best. And they were able to demonstrate it today. They make a fun meeting too. Guys, we're going to do it again after the new year, I promise. Well, Bob, we're going to have to find somebody else to troll if you're going to be on the show. All right. For Bob Orban and Brian Gale, I'm Jim Freed. Remember, the person wants to do something, finds a way, the other finds the excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. We'll be on next week. Why? Because I just love doing this. Mr. Mendoza, rocket. Love you.